Hello Internet, hello and welcome to this video. Today I present to you the ultimate guide to be able to switch from HON to Dota 2. I will cover all of the heroes and items. However, since that's a lot of stuff to cover, we will have to split it up into two parts. And we're gonna start with the heroes first. This is still going to take a while, which is why I will cut myself very short. And we are just gonna go rush through this. So I hope you enjoy. Direct ports. A hero that is a direct port is a hero you will be able to just pick up and play if you played the HON counterpart. They've got very similar abilities, and the only thing that is really different are the numbers. So you should be able to play these heroes without any problem if you have played HON. First of all, we got Earthshaker and Behemoth, pretty much the same thing. Sven and Hammerstorm, pretty much the same thing. Conquer, Gladiator, pretty much the same thing. Pudge and Devourer, slight difference in the ultimate, and Pudge's hook needs to be leveled up to have the maximum range. Then we got Sand King and Magnus, pretty much the same thing. Slardar, Pestilence, pretty much the same thing. Clockwork, Pharaoh, pretty much the same thing. Omni Knight and Cheresia, pretty much the same thing, except that the Omni Knight magic immunity can be cast on enemies. Bristleback and Armadon, pretty much the same thing. Mirana and Valkyrie, pretty much the same thing, except that the Mirana ultimate is a lot stronger and actually worth getting early on. Bloodseeker and Bloodhunter, pretty much the same thing, except that the Bloodseeker ultimate works with push staff, so you can use that to deal additional damage to enemy heroes. Shadow Fiend and Soul Stealer, pretty much the same thing, except that the Shadow Fiend can have more souls. Also his ultimate triggers when he gets killed. Razor, Corrupted Disciple, pretty much the same thing, except that Razor is a lot stronger and got a very useful Staff of the Masters upgrade. Vengeful Spirit and Andromeda, pretty much the same thing. Rikimaru and Nighthound, pretty much the same thing. Luna and Moon Queen, pretty much the same thing. Spectre and Sandrift, pretty much the same thing. Lone Druid and Weitzel, pretty much the same thing, except that you can get an armlet on the Lone Druid bear, which makes the bear very powerful, as the bear doesn't take any damage from it. The bear is also a bit weaker than Weitzel's bear. Crystal Maiden and Glaciers, pretty much the same thing. Puck and Bubbles, pretty much the same thing. Storm Spirit, Dr. Reposer, pretty much the same thing. Lich, Plague Rider, pretty much the same thing. Lion, Witch Slayer, pretty much the same thing. Zeus, Thunderbringer, pretty much the same thing. Lina, Pyromancer, you guessed it, pretty much the same thing. Shadow Shaman, Polywog Priest, pretty much the same thing. Enigma and Tempest, yet again, pretty much the same thing. Necrolith, Soul Reaper, pretty much the same thing, except that the Necrolith passive with the mana return works a little bit different than the Soul Reaper's passive. Also, the ultimate of Necrolith is a lot stronger than the Soul Reaper ultimate, as it stands before it takes the damage. Queen of Pain and Regidak, pretty much the same thing, except that Queen of Pain doesn't apply the first ability on ultimate hit. Jen and Ophelia, pretty much the same thing. Death Prophet and Defiler, pretty much the same thing. Leshrac and Torturer, pretty much the same thing, except that Leshrac is much more of a support hero and his stun is very difficult to hit. Augur, Magi and Blacksmith, pretty much the same thing, except that Augur Magi got a really nice Staff of the Masters upgrade. So much for direct ports. Next about ports with one skill difference. We got Axe and Legionnaire. Axe does have a dot instead of a charge, which is actually the skill you skill primary on Axe. Beastmaster and Tundra. Tundra got a charge, Beastmaster got the passive attack speed aura. Lycanthrope and Warbeast, that's not really a skill difference, but the wolves from Lycanthrope are much more DPS orientated as opposed to the more tanky Warbeast wolves. If you played both heroes, you will know why I put this hero in here. Then we've got Pebbles and Tiny. Tiny is played as much more of a carry, and he also got a different passive. Then we got Anti-Mage and Magebane. Anti-Mage does have passive magic damage resistance as opposed to blink magic damage resistance. Juggernaut and Swiftblade. Juggernaut got a very useful healing ward that he can summon. Venomancer and Sliver, it's just a slight difference in the passive, really. Faceless Void and Kronos. The bash of Faceless Void is random, and the passive is just straight up damage ignoring thingy. Anyways, then we got Sniper and Flint Beastwood. Sniper got Shrapnel, which is more of an area dot as opposed to Flint Beastwood's area nuke. Bane and Succubus. Succubus reduces overall damage. Bane reduces just attack damage, but a set amount of attack damage. Witch Doctor and Voodoo Chester. Witch Doctor has got a heal that he can turn on, and that costs him mana every second but heals allies around him. Dazzle and Demented Shaman. Dazzle got an ability called Shallow Grave that makes it impossible for a hero to die for a short duration. Okay, next up are somewhat ports, but not really. So these heroes got similarities. If you play them, you will feel like you have played this before if you played the HON counterpart, but not really. Okay? So we got Nyx and Predator, which both are very much based on lifesteal and attack speed and magic immunity, rah-di-da-di-da. Roof Talon and Keeper of the Forest. They're very much a similarity in the ultimate, but that's about it. Huskar and Malikin both are based on fighting with low HP and can heal themselves a significant amount. Then we got Barafoom and Rampage, really only the charge. Other than that, not really. Then we got a Viper and a Rekna. This is a very strong similarity actually, though Viper is a little bit stronger. Then we got Weaver and Madman. If you use a lot of imagination, you can make these two work. We got Nyx Assassin and Fate. Very much a similarity over there. Windrunner and Eluna. Yup. Very much a similarity yet again. Warlock and Hellbringer. They got kind of similar abilities yet again, but not really. Okay, and now we move on to the unique Dota heroes. So we got Dragon Knight. He's a tanky, shape-shifting carry that is very reliant on that level 16 mark. Tidehunter, an initiator that will always, and I say always, get off his very powerful ultimate. Skeleton King, a carry with 3 passive abilities and 1 single target stun that is very, very newbie friendly, very forgiving. Night Stalker, a ganker that is reliant on a day and night cycle. He gets very powerful during the night and is kind of mediocre during the day. Alchemist, incredible farmer, also another shape-shifting carry. Brewmaster, he is a shape-shifting initiator. He jumps in and then turns into 3 little pandas that are just very, very powerful. Then we got Doom, the most annoying hero in the game, because he's got that Doom, which just stops you from doing anything. It silences you and stops you from using items. It's an awful ability. Anyways, Chaos Knight, illusion-based strength carry that is great at closing distances, and also got a random stun, which takes some getting used to. Then we got Wisp, a support hero that needs more than just a few words to describe. Just play him. Centaur, a very, very tanky initiator-style hero that can also make your team follow up very quickly, which is nice. Then we got Timbersaw, a tree-reliant carry initiator type thingy. He relies on trees to be powerful. We got Undying, a teamfight god. If he manages to survive for long enough, he will win every fight. Very, very strong. Lots of fun to play. Tusk, ganker, carry, initiator, hybrid. That's really rather weird. He can initiate with your entire team and he got a really fun ultimate. Great hero, great hero. Magnus, the god tier initiator. He just got that incredible ultimate. Very powerful. Drow Ranger, a very simple, just straight up right click carry. Very easy to learn and play. Morphling, a carry that can replace his strength with agility and the other way around. Very weird, a very interesting concept and takes some getting used to. Then we got Naga Siren, a carry with the best setup ability in the entire game. That ultimate can lock an entire team in place and, well, give your team the ability to set up your initiation perfectly. Then we got the Phantom Lancer, a hard carry that is based solely on illusions. Phantom Assassin, a right-click carry with a 450% damage crit. It's very, very fun to look at when like 2000 damage pops up. Then we got Klings, a very quick range carry with high DPS but low survivability. He dies very quickly. Templar Assassin, a very unique one-shot style ganker carry hybrid. Also takes some getting used to. Broodmother, a very stationary and minion-based pusher that can also carry a bit. Then we got Meepo, a hero that splits up into up to 4 additional Meepos, each of which is an individual hero themselves. If one of them dies, all of them die. Then we got Bounty Hunter, a ganker carry hybrid that gains a very high amount of money from successful kills. Ursa, a carry initiator hybrid that deals absurd amounts of attack damage, and he can also take out Roshan very early in the game on his own. Then we got Gyrocopter, a very strong range carry with the best split shot in any game I've ever seen, and he's also the proud owner of the North Korean missile. Then we got Slug, hit and run style carry that gets stronger the longer he fights, very fun to play with. Medusa, a very hard carry, is almost unkillable once farmed and can put out incredible DPS, but is very farm reliant, more farm reliant than any other hero in the game. Then we got Troll Warlord, a carry that shapeshifts between ranged and melee forms and specializes in very high attack speed. Tinker, he's a nuker, pusher, carry, whatever the hell you want him to be, with the ability to refresh all of his ability and item cooldowns. Nature's Prophet, a carry with a global TP, global pushing, and is very farm reliant. Enchantress, she is just a more late game Chen. Check Hero, a supporter with a very strong long range stun and also got a decent teamfight presence. Pugna, a very strong nuker, he can be very difficult to kill. Silencer, and well, he silences. He's rather annoying to go up against. We got Rubik, a spell-stealing powerhouse and incredible amounts of fun to play. He's my favorite hero. Then we got Disruptor. He disrupts and supports. He's very frustrating to play against. Then we got Darkseer, very useful suicide laner, as he can also go into the jungle and he can force enemies into one spot. Then we got Badge Rider, another useful suicider that can also go into the jungle. He can ignore terror and can drag enemies around. Then we got the Ancient Apparition, rather weird support. I don't really know how to describe him if I'm completely honest. Then we got Invoker. He doesn't need a description. We got Keeper of the Light, a very powerful lane supporter that can restore mana, very interesting to play with. He also got a shapeshifting ultimate. I got Skywrath Mage, huge nuke potential, most commonly played as a support. Outward Destroyer, mana pool based right click carry. Yes, you heard right. He can be very powerful in the one-on-one lane and he can murder entire teams with just his ultimate. And then we got Shadow Demon, a support with mostly setup abilities, but they are still very powerful. And last but not least, Visage, a very weird support hero, I think, I'm not sure on this one, that is kind of minion based. He's really, really weird, just play him. I personally always say, if you are starting with a MOBA, play all random. Just get a new hero every game so you get to know all of them. If, however, I had to give you some heroes you can start out with, I would say either play one of the direct ports or one of the ports with one skill difference. However, if you want to play some unique Dota heroes, I would definitely go ahead and say Skeleton King, Rubik, Disruptor, and maybe the Draw Ranger. I also really would like to say Undying, though he's kind of difficult to play, but you get used to him really quickly and he's lots of fun. Anyways, so much for this one. Part 2 will be going up tomorrow, and that's one's gonna be all about items. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you later on. Bye.